Phoenix.
You gear up, you ride safe, you follow all the rules. Then someone crashes into you and suddenly you're guilty until proven innocent? Hi, I'm Mark Breyer.
And I'm Alexis Breyer. We're the husband and wife law team. If you're a rider, you're already fighting every day just to be seen. Distracted drivers love to blame riders, even when the facts say otherwise.
We have been promoting motorcycle safety and trusted by the riding community for nearly 30 years. Do your research after a motorcycle injury. Call the husband and wife law team first.
Hello, this is Jan at Toyota.
Hi, Jan. Is now a good time to get a new Toyota for summer?
It is. We like to say your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer.
Yeah, I'm a pet sitter and business is way up as people enjoy their new Toyotas.
Right, your summer starts here.
Oh, that's the Walker's pet parrot, Mr. Knowles.
That's me.
They packed up their new Corolla and took a trip to a national park.
Well, through June 2nd, everyone can join in on the summer fun with a great selection of Camrys, 4Runners, and more.
Yeah, the Johnsons strapped a canoe onto their new Grand Highlander and went out to the lake.
Shh, quiet, Lou.
And Mark and Sarah loaded their gear into their Tundra and went scuba diving.
Oh, no, stop. Sebastian, Goldie is not dinner. Fish for dinner. No, stop. This is bad.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Good luck.
Right, your summer starts here.
That's right, Mr. Knowles. Summer starts here at your Toyota dealer with a new Toyota, but it all ends June 2nd. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
Toyota, let's go places.
How do you feel when you switch to Geico and save on your car insurance? It's like unloading the grocery bags from your car and you decide you can get all the bags in one trip.
I can do it.
So you load up all 14 grocery bags on both arms. Sure, you can't feel your fingers and forgot to take your house keys out.
Almost there.
But you never put down one bag and you made it inside all in one trip, like the bag-carrying boss you are.
Yes.
Yep, switching and saving with Geico feels just like that. Get more with Geico.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
Fulton Homes is bringing legendary Fulton quality back to the West Valley. Explore 4 exceptional West Valley locations with more standard features and thousands of ways to personalize your home. Find out why people buy Fulton Homes over and over again. Fulton Homes, you're proud to own, we're proud to build.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
Somehow, yesterday, things went from bad to worse for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Welcome into the Thursday edition, the lunch break right here, KDUS AM 1060. Streaming on the KDUS AM 1060 app. You can always watch the show over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. The show is also available up on our Twitter account as well. Chris Schubert with you for the next 2 hours as an off day for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And boy, is it a much needed off day. Gives us all a chance to reset a little bit. All of us a chance to catch our breath from what the last couple of days have been and wonder how they are going to dig themselves out of this mess. You want to get in touch with us here today on the program? 480-864-1060 is the phone number. Producer Evan is behind the glass taking all of your phone calls. It was some afternoon baseball yesterday for the Diamondbacks. When we left, things weren't going well. They only got worse, and that's where we'll start today's program.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
10 runs allowed to the Pittsburgh Pirates yesterday. 19 runs allowed over the last 2 games for a team that is one of the worst offenses in all of baseball. The Pittsburgh Pirates don't score 19 runs in 2-game stretches. They did in the last 2 games against the Arizona Diamondbacks. 2 nights ago was bad enough. A 6-2 lead with Corbin Burns on the mound and your bullpen allowing a 7-run 8th inning. That was bad enough on Tuesday night. Yesterday was a carryover was a hangover. Because that team looked like, they felt like a team that was saying to themselves, it doesn't matter what we do. And that's one of the worst places you can be as a sports team. But didn't it feel like that yesterday? You're watching this team make mistakes. You're watching this team not be able to score runs. And you just get the feel from the team, specifically the offense, that doesn't matter what we do. Doesn't matter how many runs we score. Because the pitching staff, the bullpen, they'll give it up. Tuesday fed into Wednesday, and luckily with an off day, it's not going to feed into Thursday. A moment to rest a little bit. But this is a critical fork in the road for the Arizona Diamondbacks as a team. And I know that there are some of you out there today that want them to pull the ripcord, that you want them to make the move. There may be somebody on this program who wants them to make the move today or the move in the next couple of days. Maybe the guy on the other side of the glass that wants that to happen. We'll talk about that today on the program, Torey Lovullo being on the hot seat, but that's the move that everybody is considering right now. And I don't know if I'm on board with that. I don't know if that's the right move for this team, but I'll tell you this. Team needs to do something. And I don't know what that something is. I don't know if it's a players-only meeting. I don't know if it's a bunch of roster moves, one of which may have already happened today. I don't know if it's firing somebody. I don't know if it's a trade of some kind. I don't really know what this team should do because none of those options are necessarily the perfect fit for this situation. You know how you're working on a project at home and you need the right tool or the right nail for that project? You go out into the garage and you find the tool, you find the nail, and you continue on with the project. The Diamondbacks are searching for the right tool to fix this. Problem is, the stuff that they have in their toolbox, I don't know if it's the stuff that fixes this. Do you need a players-only meeting right now? Is this the time you pull that out? You're 2 games below 500. You're not Colorado bad record-wise. You're not Pittsburgh bad record-wise. You're not Baltimore bad record-wise. Baltimore fired their manager earlier this season. One of 3 teams to have already said, we're good. Baltimore had expectations. Baltimore had dreams of winning the American League East, and they felt like Brandon Hyde was no longer connecting with the players and that they needed to make a move to turn things around. Now, perhaps they should have spent more money on their starting pitching this offseason, but they felt in the moment that they needed to make a change at the manager. But they were a lot worse off than the Diamondbacks are. Diamondbacks are 2 games below 500. Diamondbacks aren't Baltimore bad. They're not Pittsburgh bad. They're not Colorado bad. If we were talking about a team that was Pittsburgh bad or Baltimore bad, then yeah, you could convince me today this team needs a change, Chris. This team needs to make a change at who's making the decisions. I don't think this is just a decision-making failure right now. Players are not executing. The bullpen is not getting the job done. This team that is normally sound in their fundamentals are making silly mistakes. We'll talk about it. Reports are that he's being sent down or that he has already been sent down. I haven't seen the official graphic from the Arizona Diamondbacks Twitter account, but just a boneheaded error yesterday that allowed the whole thing to unravel. So when I said in the open, things go from bad to worse, because the bad on Tuesday night was your bullpen giving it up. On Wednesday, it was you feeling sorry for yourself, you feeling down and out because of the way the bullpen played the night before, and then you just making bad things happen. Jordan Lawlar playing second base yesterday, trying to turn a double play instead of just taking the easy out at first base, throwing the ball into left field. That's making bad things happen. That's bringing it on yourself. That's what the Diamondbacks did yesterday. They brought the pain to themselves. So they've got to do something to save this season. Something needs to be done. I'm just not sure, as we sit here today, what that something is supposed to be. I'm not ready to fire the manager just yet. The pitching coach, the person who oversees the bullpen, you just hired a new pitching coach. He's less than 3 months on the job in the regular season. Doesn't feel like a move you can make. There's not a magical trade that's going to fall out of thin air at the end of May for you to fix this bullpen. A.J. Puck is not going to be back until the end of June. You can call a players-only meeting. Maybe that's what this team needs to create a rallying cry. I just don't know today, as we sit here, what this team is supposed to do, because I don't know if any of the potential things that they can do, the tools that they can pull out of the toolbox, I don't know if any of them fix the actual problem. And the actual problem right now is this ball club is not playing to their talent level, and they have a bullpen that is a complete disaster.
Has a players-only meeting ever worked in the history of sports?
I can think of one.
Okay.
The Mets did it last year.
Okay. There you go.
And
one.
they were 2 wins away from going to the World Series.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 1 in 150.
No, but
in every sport, literally in football, if you have a players-only meeting, you go, "Ooh, gun chain on them." Season over.
Which is why that doesn't feel like the right tool to pull out of the toolbox. The manager being fired. I know you are championing this cause, you and everybody else I see on social media. I'm just not there yet. I don't think it fixes this. I don't think a new voice is all of a sudden going to make Kevin Ginkel not have a 12 ERA. I don't think a new voice is all of a sudden going to allow Ryan Thompson to throw strikes. I don't think firing the manager today, right now, on an off day on May 29th, I don't think that changes this. In 2 weeks, if this continues to go bad to worse and we start to see signs of him losing the team, which I don't see the signs of, they're just playing bad. Jordan Lawlar making a mental mistake yesterday, that's not on the manager. So, again, I don't know if any of the tools in the toolbox fix this. They've just got to play better. And I hate for it to be that simple, but that's what it is. They just have to play better. They have to play better defense. They have to get better pitching out of their bullpen. They're not going to trade their way out of this mess. They are not going to sign guys and get themselves out of this mess. Kevin Ginkel has to pitch better than a 12 ERA. Ryan Thompson has to pitch better than his 7 or 8 ERA, whatever it's up to right now. And if they don't, then the season is going to go down the tubes. That's not on the manager. It's on the players. So I don't know what you do. You got to do something. We have a job for this. You got to do something. I just don't know what it is.
We'll get into later in the show why I think you almost need to take dramatic measures and how I think it's paid off for teams in the past. But you're right. What is it? I don't know. Am I going to sit here and say everything this year is Torey's fault? No. Do I think that when you have a team that's performing poorly at work, the manager of that team gets fired? That's the end-all, be-all. That's what it is. They're responsible. The general manager is responsible for not having enough arms in the bullpen and not seeing these things. The manager is responsible for that in some regard. And that's where I stand on it, and we'll get into segment X about this. But to me, when you have a team at a job that is performing as poorly and as disappointingly as the Diamondbacks are, you fire the manager of that regime, period.
And I think I've been clear on this, but I'll repeat it again because we're having the conversation again here today. Torey Lovullo is not blameless in this.
No.
Torey Lovullo has some responsibility here. Some of the games on the meltdown meter are poor decisions that he made. And if you want to say he should have taken Kevin Ginkel out earlier in that contest and went to Jalen Beeks, okay, but Jalen Beeks didn't have it either. And yesterday, is that on Torey Lovullo? Is yesterday on Torey? Or is yesterday on Jordan Lawlar? Is yesterday on Zach Allen? Is yesterday on an offense that scored 1 run over their last, 9 innings yesterday, the last 4 or 5 innings of the day prior, last 13 innings or so? Is that on Torey? The blame pie here, if we were divvying it up, Torey Lovullo gets a share of the blame pie. But I'm sorry. The large majority of the blame pie for me right now as we sit here on May 29th, a majority of that blame pie goes on the players. You've just got to go out there and execute. Kevin Ginkel has been a great reliever in the past. Ryan Thompson has been a trusted, reliable reliever in the past. This isn't like the team was betting on these guys emerging into high leverage relief arms, that they were projecting these guys to high leverage relief arms. If that's the case, yeah, you can get on Mike Hazen. You can get on Torey. Kevin Ginkel has a resume that speaks for itself. Ryan Thompson has a resume that speaks for itself. Been there, done that. Have been trusted, reliable, go-to high leverage relievers. And this year, they're just not executing. It feels like the team is just not playing up to their talent level on the back of their baseball card. Sometimes that just happens in this sport in particular. You're playing 162 games. There are going to be phases where you just don't play like the back of your baseball card. That's what's happening right now for this team. In 2 weeks, if it continues to get worse, if you see the morale of the team be down, if you see more games like yesterday where it looks like they're mentally checked out, where it looks like they're still thinking about the day before, then okay. That's where the manager's role comes in, because he's got to reset everybody's priorities. He has to be the guy that tells everybody, forget about yesterday, let's focus on today. And if they're not able to do that, then you have a scenario where a manager has lost a clubhouse. But yesterday, I think Evan would agree with this. Yesterday was really the first time that one of these games on the meltdown meter carried over into the next day and you saw a less than 5% effort. You saw just one of the worst efforts of the season. That's really the first time it's happened. If it continues to be a problem, then we are going to have a Torey Lovullo conversation. But the Arizona Diamondbacks need to find something. They need to find some tool in the toolbox to try to save this season. Or else, we're going to get to June. We're going to get to July. And on this program, we're going to be talking about trade rumors involving the Arizona Diamondbacks and where certain guys are going to be playing their summer months of baseball. That's what's on the line here over the next 6 weeks. Yesterday was potentially rock bottom for this team this season. That was a bad loss to a team that you should not have lost to. I know Paul Skeens was on the mound, but you made it easy for Paul Skeens because Zach Gallen didn't have it. Jordan Lawlar didn't have it. Once it was 3-0, you knew against Skeens you didn't stand a chance. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. When we come back, they say that a good head coach quarterback duo, it can take you pretty far in the NFL. So where does the Cardinals duo rank? That's next on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind. Oh my. Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Nitro Circus is back with the all-new Off the Rails Tour. World-class daredevils and FMX, BMX, skate, scooter, and more. Jaw-dropping stunts, high-flying tricks, and never-been-done showdowns. Friday, December 5th, Desert Diamond Arena. Visit Ticketmaster.com.
When my wife and I got married after both graduating law school, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Ultima had to give me her gas card just to drive home. We never could have imagined that one day we would have the largest injury firm in the world and $25 billion in money collected and counting. As good Catholics, we had 4 children fast. They all work in the firm today. Our family protecting yours. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. But our greatest gift was years away, grandchildren. Today we have 6 and counting. It's the greatest joy that we have ever experienced. I think about them all day long. Our family promises to protect your family should you need us. Call us. It's easy. Visit forthepeople.com and make sure you hug your grandchildren. God's final gift to us. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, Mike Barrow from Barrow's Pizza here. The way we see it, family isn't just a cherished thing, it's everything. For us, that starts with our Grandma Angelina's family recipes brought over from Sarconi, Italy, like our sweet and tangy pizza sauce, 100% real mozzarella, and our fresh dough made every morning. And because every Barrow's is family-owned, never franchised, we personally make sure the quality's there at every location. So stop in and give Barrow's Pizza a try. It's authentic food from our family to yours.
Today we celebrate all of our hard work, late nights, and the most craveable Raising Cane's chicken fingers and cane sauce that got you through it. So get out there and commemorate this moment with a grad plush puppy. Because you've earned it. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Jim Rome here with the Rome Report. So I posted something to my XP Tuesday night that I want to repeat right here. I know, shameless cross promotion, right? Follow me at Jim Rome. Anyway, quote, NBA players voting Tyrese Haliburton the most overrated player in the league might be the worst take in the history of the league. End of quote. I mean, get out of here with that. Hate much? It's probably the worst take in the history of the league because he just did something that no one else has ever done in the history of the league. Go for at least 30 points, 15 assists, 10 boards, and no turnovers in a playoff game. A playoff game that his team had to have. Sure, the Knicks have come back from 3 20-point deficits this postseason, but they're not coming back from that. In the meantime, every one of Haliburton's peers that hated on him anonymously should put some respect on his name publicly and also apologize, because that right there is an all-time horrible take, and this dude is a cold-blooded assassin. I'm Jim Rome. The basketball playoffs are here on Prize Picks, the best place to cash in on the action. The app is so simple to use. Just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code ROME. Get $50 in bonus promo funds instantly when you play $5. That's code ROME on Prize Picks to get $50 in bonus promo funds instantly when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get the $50 bonus credit just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. You don't have to be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
O'Reilly. You need parts? We got parts. Product availability? Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Get 1 free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select brake pads for $10 more, or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or import direct pads for just $20. Offer in-store only. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
We'll get more into Torey Lavello and whether or not he has been placed on the hot seat after what has happened over the last couple of days, and more importantly, where this team sits so far this season. That coming up in about 10 minutes from now, but a little football here on the lunch break. Chris Schubert with you. The Arizona Cardinals OTAs underway. Everybody meeting with the media yesterday, starting to get some quotes from the coach, from the players, and we are less than 100 days from the start of the NFL season. So everybody is getting that anticipation. Everybody is getting excited. And this is the time of year where you get those rankings. Everybody likes to reset here. Drafts behind us. Free agency is behind us. The schedule has been released. And so now we start to stack these teams up. We start to stack these teams next to one another. And so this morning, was doing some show prep, saw a great story on Sports Illustrated ranking the NFL's 32 coach-quarterback duos entering the 2025 season. Because your head coach, your quarterback, potentially the two most important individuals on a team, as a head coach and a quarterback go, they can make up for a lot of deficiencies elsewhere on your roster. You've got a great head coach. You've got a great quarterback. You can overlook a bad defense or an underwhelming receiving core because you have a great quarterback or because you have a coach that's going to scheme a bunch of stuff. It's going to be able to out-scheme the opposition. So even if you're at a talent mismatch, you have the coaching advantage. And so I saw this list, had to know where the Cardinals were, had to know where everybody else was ranked in the NFL. And to me, these stories, we've got one more that we're going to talk a little bit later on in the program about in hour number 2. These stories are telling one very specific story when it comes to the Arizona Cardinals, is that there is an unknown still here about JG and Kyler Murray. And you see it baked into how almost everybody talks about the Arizona Cardinals. They understand the improvements that this team has made. They understand that this team is better than they were a couple of years ago, that their arrow is trending upwards, that they're going in the right direction. But not everybody, most people, in fact, are not ready to buy in to the Arizona Cardinals, at least fully. They're not willing to put all their chips on the Arizona Cardinals. So this ranking of the NFL's 32 coach-quarterback duos in 2025 on Sports Illustrated had the Arizona Cardinals ranked 19th. They had Jonathan Gannon 26th on their coaching rankings and Kyler Murray 15th on their quarterback rankings. That combines for a point total of 41, and you don't want to have points. They give you the opposite end of the spectrum. The Kansas City Chiefs were number 1 on this list with a total point total of 2 because they had the number 1 coach in Andy Reid and the number 1 quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. But here is what they had to say about the Arizona Cardinals. Quote, Gannon's Cardinals were surprisingly competitive last year, winning 8 games. Now, after what appears to be a solid draft combined with the offseason signing of edge rusher Josh Sweat, Arizona could contend for a playoff berth. Murray flourished in his first season under coordinator Drew Petzing, throwing for 3,851 yards and 20 touchdowns while completing 68.8% of his attempts, end quote. And then it also provides last year's rankings of 24, meaning the Cardinals have moved up 5 spots from where they were on this list a year ago. Again, acknowledging the improvement, acknowledging that this team is better, at least on paper, than they were a year ago, but not fully bought in. Still somewhat dubious, on the fence, not sure. Got to prove it to me. I know you're probably better. I think you're probably better. But can you prove it to me? Can you show it to me? Can you have those early results that validate my feelings? That's what a lot of people are saying about the Arizona Cardinals. Now, we, on this program, think this team can win double-digit games next season. We think this team is the second best team in the NFC West. We think this is the year where they're going to be able to break through and have that chance at the end of the season to make the playoffs. Not everybody else is with us, especially the national media. There seems to be some trepidation on buying into the Arizona Cardinals. So this list, better than where they were a year ago, but not that much better. And more importantly, where do they stack up with the rest of the NFC West? And to nobody's surprise, you have the Los Angeles Rams at number 3 overall on this list with McVay and Stafford, and you have San Francisco number 7 with Shanahan and Brock Purdy. The Arizona Cardinals, when it comes to a head coach quarterback duo, they rank 3rd in the NFC West, with Seattle a couple spots behind them at 21. So just from a head coach quarterback conversation, and the head coach quarterback, very important if you want to win football games. You've got to outduel opposing coaches, and if you're a quarterback, you've got to put the team on your back at some time
throughout the course of the season and just make those big plays. We talk about those 5 to 8 throws over the course of a game that those franchise quarterbacks just have to be able to make for you to win consistently. Those two guys, Gannon and Murray, at some point, those two guys individually are going to have to win games for the Arizona Cardinals. Gannon with how aggressive he is, Gannon with the play calling, and Kyler with the execution of that play calling. But not everybody's bought in. Third best team, at least from a head coach quarterback duo perspective, according to the Sports Illustrated article, in the NFC West. Saying quarterback head coach wise, we're not that sold. And Jonathan Gannon in particular, 26th on this list. Not so sure about JG and his ability to win the big game, probably because you haven't seen him in a big game. How's he going to be able to handle that pressure? How's he going to handle going up against Sean McVay 2 times a year with the pressure of trying to make the playoffs? Kyle Shanahan 2 times a year trying to make the playoffs, trying to compete in this division with the expectation of making the postseason. That's the expectation on this team, making the playoffs. How does he handle that pressure? According to this, they're not ready to say that he is one of those coaches that can handle that kind of pressure. A theme emerging. And you'll see it again in another story that we talk about here today on the program. People are not fully buying what the Arizona Cardinals are selling. We love JG. Between JG and Kyler, I have way more confidence in Gannon than I do Kyler Murray. Way more. Not according to this. This story says, got way more confidence in Kyler Murray being a top 15 quarterback, Jonathan Gannon being a top 26 quarterback. Head coach, I should say.
They've seen Murray make the playoffs.
They haven't seen it with Gannon.
They haven't seen it with Gannon.
It's an unknown. Again, more confidence in Gannon than Murray. But I don't know. I got to see it in a big game in December. How you handle going up against McVay. How you handle going up against D'Amico Ryans in Houston towards the tail end of the season. How you handle those very important games. Cincinnati, Zach Taylor, Joe Burrow, late in the season. How you handle those environments. And so because he is a relative unknown when it comes to looking at that lens, he drags the Cardinals down in the head coach quarterback duo rankings. When you would think it would be the other way around. But overall, the message is clear. Nobody is buying, at least fully, some not at all. They're not buying what the Cardinals are selling. Coming up next, it was a bad series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Has it put the manager on the hot seat? That's next on the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Phoenix. Footprint Center, Saturday, August 2nd. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. It's about to get heavy. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
In Las Vegas, live music doesn't just start. It hits different. The biggest names in music will be taking the stage. Beyoncé, Shakira, New Kids on the Block, Pitbull, Lionel Richie, Kenny Chesney, Motley Crue, Janet Jackson, Keisha Cole, Brad Paisley, Kelly Clarkson, The Weeknd, live in Vegas. Go to visitlasvegas.com to see the full summer lineup.
Hello, this is Jan at Toyota.
Hi, Jan. Is now a good time to get a new Toyota for summer?
It is. We like to say your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer.
Yeah, I'm a pet sitter and business is way up as people enjoy their new Toyotas. Your summer starts here. Oh, that's the Walker's pet parrot, Mr. Knowles. That's me. They packed up their new Corolla and took a trip to a national park.
Well, through June 2nd, everyone can join in on the summer fun with a great selection of Camrys, 4Runners, and more.
Yeah, the Johnsons strapped a canoe onto their new Grand Highlander and went out to the lake. Shh, quiet, Lou. And Mark and Sarah loaded their gear into their Tundra and went scuba diving. Oh, no, stop. Sebastian, Goldie is not dinner. Fish for dinner. No, stop. This is bad. Yeah, I gotta go.
Good luck.
Your summer starts here.
That's right, Mr. Knowles. Summer starts here at your Toyota dealer with a new Toyota, but it all ends June 2nd. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
Toyota, let's go places.
It starts with a simple order, a cold Dos Equis dressed with salt and lime. But for the salt clinging to the bottle and the lime perched on top, this is the luckiest of unions. As if the universe has swiped right, pairing flavors together with a crisp Dos Equis. This is refreshment designed by fate, blessed by destiny, and served by bartenders. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Buy or sell coming up in about 10 minutes from now. What do we got in today's buy or sell, producer Evan? Anything good? You don't have to give it all away.
We got some good stuff in buy or sell, some national stuff, some local stuff.
Wow, you're really selling it for the people.
A little bit of D-backs.
I'm surprised the D-backs made it in there today. Even on an off day.
What could we think of the new Suns head coach? And lastly, maybe a little national NBA talk.
Okay. That's coming up. Buy or sell 10 minutes from now. That's all you're giving me to figure out if I'm buying or selling these takes.
Yeah, well, teases are new to me.
Oh, yeah, you're working on it. That's okay. We'll get there.
So I'm getting those.
It'll be fine. 3 weeks from now, you'll be a pro and you'll forget about it. You'll be like, teases are easy. I know exactly what I'm going to say.
Yep.
We'll be there just fine.
Hopefully.
Torey Lavello, on an off day today, he is probably topic number one when it comes to this Arizona Diamondbacks baseball team right now, because once again, and it happens pretty regularly, but once again, a conversation about his future is cycling. And there are people on this program in particular that are ready to make a change, that are ready for the Arizona Diamondbacks to move on from Torey Lavello. Now, here's where I want to start this conversation. Is Torey on the hot seat? Is Torey moving closer and closer to, if this doesn't turn around, he's going to have to go? And I don't want to put him firmly on the hot seat right now. I do want to say this, though. It's getting warm. You lose a series at home to the Pirates. You lose a series at home, and you lose the games in which Corbin Burns and Zach Gallen start. And you lose the games the way that you did, bullpen blowing it on Tuesday, the carryover into Wednesday, and just looking like a team that wanted to do anything other than play baseball yesterday afternoon at Chase Field, even though you were playing a Pittsburgh Pirates team that you should have been able to beat. That type of stuff at least warms up the seat a little bit because of the expectations on this team. The most money Ken Kendrick has ever spent on a baseball team. Nearly $200 million wrapped up in a team that right now is 2 games below 500. So you betcha that when you're 2 games below 500 and there's that type of money, there are those resources put into a team, the seat gets a little warm when the calendar's about to turn to June and you're a below 500 baseball team. It warms up the seat a little bit. To me, if Torey was on the hot seat, if he lost this series to the Nationals over the weekend, that would mean he would be gone. And I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're at a point where he has to win, sweep the series against the Nationals, or another loss is going to send him out the door. I just don't think we are there yet. Now, it can turn very quickly. I think if you lose this series to the Nationals, you get swept by the Nationals over the weekend, that's when you're now on the hot seat, and one more bad loss could be the thing that tips this over the edge. But you're only 2 games below 500. You still have all the talent in the world on this roster. You still have Corbin Carroll, despite the struggles he's going through right now. You still have Ketel Marte. Josh Naylor starting to get warm a little bit, hit a home run the other day. Pavin Smith. You've got Suarez. You've got Perdomo having a fantastic year. You have Corbin Burns taking the ball every 5th day. Merrill Kelly's been good. Brandon Pfaadt's been good. Ryan Nelson's been excellent. So you've got the starting pitching. You've got the bats. You have Justin Martinez out there in the bullpen. This is not a team that is devoid of talent. This is not a team that is incapable of rattling off 8 or 9 wins in a row to all of a sudden make us feel good about the team again. That is all within the realm of possibility. So that's where I stand on this. The seat is certainly warmer, but I'm just not ready to say hot seat. Day by day, we are looking at this through the lens of one bad loss, one more slip up, and it is over. Now, that's how I feel. I have not asked or talked to the producer of the program on the air about this today. But in the morning meeting for the last 3 days now, it has come up because you want this team to make a move. So the floor is yours. If you want to make the case right now that he's firmly on the hot seat, that he should probably go, the floor is yours.
What's the most important job of the manager?
Is this a rhetorical question, or do you want me to try to answer?
I want you to try to answer it.
For me, a baseball manager, the most important thing is keeping the room engaged, keeping the team focused on the specific goal. And in this case, it is making the playoffs and then getting in there and making noise. And he needs to keep everybody engaged, keep everybody in high spirits, keep everybody working every day towards that goal.
Yesterday, they lost that. And
yes,
for the first time, they didn't want to be there. They didn't care about the game. In a day where you're playing the Pirates and you have Zach Gallen on the mound, you didn't show up. You didn't show up, and you lost handedly because of it.
10-1.
And now you're in a point where you have to make a change. And whether it's at the manager or not, something dramatic needs to happen to show the room they're accountable. Whether it's on Torey or not, it really doesn't matter. He is the overseeing of a team who is failing. You and I talked about how they should have fired Bud at certain points when he lost the locker room. You're in danger of this thing starting to carry that way that it did for the Suns. He's been the manager. This is his 9th season, Chris. They've made the playoffs twice. One year they went to the World Series, and it was this great magical run. But a lot of disappointing years in there, and I'm not saying they're all good teams, but he certainly doesn't have a career winning percentage that's positive.
You invoked the Suns and Coach Mike Budenholzer, and I think it's a very fair comparison to bring up because this was before you got here, but during the year, we discussed on air, okay, this isn't getting any better. This isn't getting to a place where you're going to turn it around and make a run for the play-in tournament. So with 20 some odd games to go, with 25 some odd games to go, is now the time to fire Bud, to try to get a spark because you've got the talent to maybe make that push, right? We asked that. But boy, did it take a lot before we got to this point. Because I'll tell you what this past series against Pittsburgh and losing the 2 games on Tuesday and Wednesday reminded me of. And again, if we're comparing the 2 franchises,
it's the back-to-backs against Portland.
It is the back-to-backs against Portland.
It's exactly what I thought.
When the Suns lost the 2 games in Portland, what did we all say after that? Oh, this is over. This is done. That's what the last 2 days felt for me. It felt like this, we may look back at this and say that was our Portland moment. Now, again, I'm not ready to say that yet. We are less than 60 games into the season. There's more than 100 games to go. The Phoenix Suns season was further down the road at that point. But you can't afford another one of these. Again, another one of these, and then we are going to start talking about, do you need to make a move? Because would it surprise you? Would it shock you if they swept the Nationals this weekend? Would it shock you?
Yes.
See, I'm not there yet with this team. They are still talented enough. They're healthy enough. The bats can score enough to where if we came in here on Monday and we got to talk about a sweep of the Washington Nationals, I would not be surprised by that. Now,
offensively, they look dead. They scored the 6 runs the other night, but didn't have a hit in the final 5 innings. Last night they didn't, score, or yesterday they only scored the 1 run when game was already out of reach. Yeah, I would be shocked. I would be genuinely surprised if they swept the Nationals. They lost 2 of 3 already this year.
If they swept the Nationals, if they got swept by the Nationals, if they won 2 of 3, if they lost 2 of 3, nothing about this team right now would surprise me this weekend in this series. None of it. All of it seems plausible. All of it seems realistic. That's how up and down this team has been this season. But as these series start to stack up, if you lose another series over the weekend, boy, is it going to be harder for the seat to not get really, really warm for Torey. Because at some point, you're going to have to try to save the season.
They're 4-5 against the Nationals, Rockies, and Pirates.
They've lost, 8 of their last 9?
Yeah. This is you had the perfect opportunity to do it today. The Phillies in 2022 fired Joe Girardi on June 3rd. They were 22-29 at that point. I'm not saying they're 7 games below 500 like the Phillies were then, but they ended up in the World Series that year.
It is not a death sentence to fire the manager. You're not saying that the season is over, we can't turn this around. There are examples of teams doing this, and they're being able to galvanize and go on a run, right? I'm not saying that. You've just got to be sure. And I don't know if right now you can be sure that that's the thing that's going to fix this. Because if Torey is still loved in that room, if they still love going to battle and they want to run through a wall from their manager, and you fire Torey today, you could lose the room. I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not in the room with them when Torey's talking to them or when they're going through their pregame routines. I'm not in their heads. They're going to always say all the right things. Mike Hazen said all the right things yesterday. In fact, he's the one that took the blame. He put the blame on him. He kind of shielded Torey, which tells you he's not going to be the one that makes the move with Torey. This is going to have to come from upstairs.
If they win 88 games and miss the playoffs, are they going to fire Torey Lovullo?
If they miss the playoffs, I think they will make a move, yes. I think if they miss the playoffs, they will make a move.
If that's the case, then fire them now. Because they're not going to make the playoffs with how things are going right now. And unless you make a change, to me, this thing's not going to get fixed. They're not a trade away. They're not getting healthy away. We've talked about it. What happens when AJ Puck comes back? What happens when J Mark can pitch back-to-back days?
I just think we are talking about a team. The way we're talking right now and having this conversation, and it's a great conversation, but the way we're talking right now is a team that's 10 games below 500 and is 8 or 9 games out of the playoffs. This team's 2 games below 500. They've lost 8 of 9 games, and they're 2 games below 500. So that's why I'm not willing to say the hot seat is super hot right now. It's warm. It's warm, and it's getting warmer.
Who you lose to? You have a losing record against the Rockies, the Nationals, and the Pirates.
You sweep the Nationals this weekend, you're all of a sudden back above 500. I'm just saying, that's how razor thin the margin is right now. You get swept by the Nationals, you're 5 games below 500. Okay, now I can't talk about how, you're right there. One good stretch gets you out of it.
So it was for the 3rd series now in the last 4 series. Is this a must sweep?
You have to win the series. That's what I'll say. You have to win the series. If you lose the series, again, I called you an unserious baseball team earlier this week. You lose this series. You lose to the Pirates. You lose to the Nationals. You lose series to them. You're an unserious team. And then unserious teams have to do things like firing their manager. We got buy or sell when we come back here on the other side of the break. It's the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Hosier presents the Unreal Unearthed Tour 2025 live in Phoenix. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, October 7th. With special guest, Amble. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The #1 album, Unreal Unearthed, is available everywhere. For more, visit hosier.com.
At Shane Company, we love a spring engagement, but you might be wondering, how do I find the perfect engagement ring? As a trusted family jeweler since 1929, we get asked this a lot. We have a wide selection of ring settings, like vintage designs with romantic details, floral settings inspired by nature, and classic styles with clean lines and sleek metals. Dreaming of the most beautiful diamond you've ever seen? At Shane Company, we handpick only the sparkliest center stones in all shapes and sizes, from oval to round to marquise, and more. We have gorgeous natural and lab-grown diamonds at competitive prices, in-store, ready to compare side by side. Drawn to certain colors? We're known for our rainbow of vivid natural sapphires, including shades of blue, straight out of a fairy tale, handpicked by our owner, Tom Shane. At Shane Company, we have the best free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, plus resizing, repairs, and cleanings for life. Visit us at shaneco.com or in store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Fulton Homes is bringing legendary Fulton quality back to the West Valley. Explore 4 exceptional West Valley locations with more standard features and thousands of ways to personalize your home. Find out why people buy Fulton Homes over and over again. Fulton Homes. You're proud to own. We're proud to build.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind. Oh my. Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. We'll open up hour number 2 of the program about 10 minutes from now. We're down to 5 for the Phoenix Suns and their head coaching search. Those 5 names, and if there's anybody that is jumping out as a favorite, that's how we'll start hour number 2 of the program. But right now, it is buy or sell. Normally, it's 5 topics. I don't know if we'll be able to get to all 5 topics, but producer Evan has them. I'm either buying or selling the take. Take it away, my friend.
The D-backs should at least entertain moving Jordan Lawlar after a bad start and sending him down this morning.
Man, you love to just pull out the East Coast radio guy. You bring it out all the time. Fire Torey. Now we're trading Jordan Lawlar. You just can't help yourself. You moved out here. You've gone to school here. Now you live here permanently. You work here. You cover new teams now. You talk, and you can't rid yourself of just the overreaction.
It's it'll never leave.
You just can't get rid of it.
No,
sell this. They're not trading Jordan Lawlar. He's the starting third baseman for the team next year.
I don't know if I got a good package. I would think about it.
Sell. No, not doing this.
You don't think there's a team that? No.
Do I think there's a team that's going to call and ask? Yeah, there'll be a team that calls and asks, but no. Starting third baseman for the team next year, Jordan Lawlar.
D-backs problems won't be fixable despite what Mike Hazen says. And that doesn't mean that they're not going to make the playoffs or anything. It's just like the bullpen's still going to stink.
The bullpen for the Arizona Diamondbacks is not going to get fixed by an outside addition. it's not going to get fixed by A.J. Puck coming back. I agree with Mike Hazen when he says this has got to come from inside. A.J. Puck comes back, best case scenario, the end of next month. A trade acquisition, best case scenario, happens at the beginning of July. We've got to get there with a team that matters. So what's the take again?
The D-backs problems won't be fixable despite what Mike Hazen says.
There's no savior coming to help them. Can they pitch better? Yes, Kevin Ginkel can pitch better. I've seen him do it. Can Ryan Thompson pitch better? Yes, I've seen him do it. All these guys can pitch better. I've watched it. So I will. Do I want to sell this? I think I'm selling this idea that they're not fixable. They are fixable. It's just not going to be fixed. Don't send me. How about this? Don't send me your trade proposals for what the Diamondbacks should do right now because they're not doing any of them. Not at the end of May. I don't know.
So we should just wrap up. No, I'm just kidding. The Suns will make their head coaching hire by the end of next week.
End of next week. 5 candidates left. We're going to talk about that at the top of hour number 2. And one of them is still coaching right now. I'm remembering the list. I don't have the list directly in front of me. Dave Bliss is the only name.
Still coaching.
Congratulations
to them, by the way.
Oklahoma City Thunder.
Going to the finals.
Convincingly going to the finals. I will sell that they will hire their next head coach before the end of next week. So next Friday's show.
Next Friday.
Sell.
Okay. The Knicks are still in the series despite being down 3-1 and have a real chance to win 3 in a row.
You had me in the first half. You had me in the first half of the take. I was right there with you. It was the second part that read it again. And now I want everybody to listen. The first half you're on board with. And then, Evan, again, the East Coast and you just came out there in the end. Read it one more time.
The Knicks are still in the series.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And have a real chance to win 3 in a row.
See? They're still in the series. Yes, because they're still playing. Buy this. Yes, they can win a game. A real chance to win 3 in a row, that's where you kind of lose me a little bit.
Well, then, if I said the Knicks are still in the series, it wouldn't be a take.
Buy that take. No, I don't think they're going to win 3 in a row. Do I think they're going to win tonight? I do. Do I think they're going to avoid Indiana celebrating on their home floor in Madison Square Garden? Yes. I think they're going to avoid that. Do I think this goes back to Madison Square Garden for a Game 7?
I think it goes to 7. I just have this funny feeling that the other series was such a blowout. The NBA is known for trying to extend one series. Knicks will certainly win tonight. I think they'll win in Indiana. We'll see how Game 7 goes.
Do we know who the officials are tonight?
If it's Scott Foster, we're going to 7.
That's why I'm asking. If it's Scott Foster, we are going to at least a Game 6. Because that's who you call in when you need somebody to help extend the series. So if Scott Foster is one of the officials for tonight's Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals, I'll see it in Game 6 in Indiana. I can see producer Evan just frantically smashing the keyboard to try to figure this out.
I have no idea.
If it's Scott Foster, just know this. If it's Scott Foster.
It's not Scott Foster. Wow, not Scott Foster.
Series
it's Zach Zarba, Josh Tiven, James Williams, and the alternate is Pat Fraher.
Series ends tonight. Indiana wins. I'll sell the take. How about that?
Wow. I mean, that's crazy. Knicks are going to win 3 in a row. Last one. And this one's kind of crazy, maybe a little out of the blue, but I was thinking about this morning. At least 5 rookie quarterbacks will make at least 1 start in 2025.
Okay. See, this is what happens when you don't give me these ahead of time. Now I have to think them out on the air. Jackson Dart will make at least 1 start. Cam Ward will make a start.
And Tyler Shuck will make a start.
Those 3 I feel really good in. So I need to find 2 other quarterbacks that are going to make a start. Shedeur Sanders is making at least 1 start this season for Cleveland.
One of the guys in Cleveland is making a start.
Yeah, Shedeur Sanders.
So there's 4.
Sanders is 4.
And my 5th, that I was thinking
Jalen Milroe?
No, I think he could be 6. I think Riley Leonard will get a shot to make a start in Indy.
Well, yeah, because they have you and I playing quarterback right now for them. So Milroe could make a start.
I think so, too. I think week 6, Milroe is going to be the starter.
You can't. Now we've got 20 seconds left in the segment, and that's what you're going to leave me with? Now I got to think about that? by week 6, Milrose, the hour number 2 of the program coming up next. KDUS AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Rivalry Night is back in Phoenix. Phoenix Rising faces off against New Mexico United on Saturday, May 31st at 7 p.m., and the heat is on. Tickets start at just $15, and fans can take advantage of the special $4 3-3 menu featuring a $4 all-beef hot dog, $3 Modelo, and $3 Arizona lemonade. This one's personal. This one's loud. Don't miss it. Get your tickets now at phxrisingfc.com. Phoenix Rising versus New Mexico United, May 31st. Be there.
Breaking Benjamin. Stay forever. And 3 Days Grace. Live. October 8th at Desert Diamond Arena with special guest Return to Dust. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Don't miss Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace, presented by the Big Red Radio.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help that often requires only simple maintenance. However, if left untreated, could lead to costly repairs. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door Service. Don't wait until a simple garage door repair becomes a major problem. If your garage door is noisy, if bugs are getting in, or if it struggles to open, your garage door is in need of repair. From simple repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. We fix garage doors fast and with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Our springs, rollers, and openers are tested by running them up and down, open and closed, all day, 24/7, so you can feel confident with every A1 garage door repair. Replacing the bottom rubber on your garage door can have a huge impact on the number of bugs you see in your garage and in your home. Keep those creepy crawlers outside by calling A1 Garage Door Service today and receive the best service, best parts, and best warranty in the industry.
A1Garage.com, A1 from day one.
Call today and take advantage of our $29.95 tune-up special.
Hear that? That's the sound of a loaded cash explosion. It happens every time someone wins loaded cash explosion scratchers from the Arizona lottery. Oh, it's happening again. Since tickets are loaded with $1,000 prizes with explosive top prizes of $2.5 million. Plus, a second chance to win $1 million in the Players Club. Head to an Arizona lottery retailer and play loaded cash explosion scratchers today.
Today we celebrate all of our hard work, late nights, and the most craveable Raising Cane's chicken fingers and cane sauce that got you through it. So get out there and commemorate this moment with a grad plush puppy. Because you've earned it. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
12 o'clock hour, the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. We got one more hour for you. Producer Evan is behind the glass taking your phone calls. 480-864-1060 is the phone number. We will start hour number 2 of the program, talking a little Phoenix Suns basketball. As according to a bunch of reporting yesterday, the Suns have narrowed down their coaching search to 5. And those 5 have been invited for interviews. And the 5 are as follows: Chris Quinn, Miami Heat assistant coach; Johnny Bryant, Cleveland Cavaliers assistant coach; Jordan Ott, Cleveland Cavaliers assistant coach; Dave Bliss, Oklahoma City Thunder assistant coach; and Sean Sweeney, Dallas Mavericks assistant coach. 5 coaches, 5 assistant coaches, none with past head coaching experience. All would be coaching for an NBA team as the head coach for the first time in their careers. So going to the complete opposite end of the spectrum to where they were with their last couple of coaching hires. They cared about experience. They cared about pedigree. They cared about your resume when they hired Vogel and they hired Coach Bud. They are now telling you, we don't care about those things. We need to get somebody who's going to help build this the right way. I love everything about this process so far. I couldn't be more over the moon about the way Matt Ishbia, Brian Gregory, and the entire organization has seemingly conducted themselves in this process. They are taking their time. And that may bother some of you. You may want them to have just hired somebody already to get a move on with all the other stuff that they need to do this offseason. But you know what? I love how detail-oriented they are being. We thought that the final group was going to be 3 coaches, maybe 4 coaches. Instead, it's 5 guys that have made it to the final round that are now going to have those in-person interviews that are going to get to sell their vision for the Phoenix Suns to Matt Ishbia, to Brian Gregory, to find out
the alignment,
if they are aligned moving forward. And you know what? The fact that they're taking their time, the fact that they are trying to get this right, crossing T's, dotting I's. I love this so far for the Phoenix Suns. This is the first chance for Brian Gregory to show to all of us he has a handle on what he's doing here. That he can be a successful general manager. Getting this head coaching thing right is going to help him be successful as a GM. They have to get this right. And you know, I obviously see a name on this list that has those Michigan State ties, and so you get a little worried. But I don't get worried about Chris Quinn being on this list. I don't get worried about Dave Bliss being on this list. I have a tweet that we can pull up the timestamp of. This was maybe within 24 hours of the Suns firing Coach Bud. And I tweeted, Dave Bliss is somebody I want on this list. This is before we heard any names. This is before we heard what they were looking for in the next head coach. Dave Bliss just jumped off the page for me with the Thunder, defensive-minded guy, has been there with multiple different head coaches there in Oklahoma City, helped build that thing as an assistant coach, just really jumped off the page for me. Chris Quinn, when we did our list a couple of weeks ago, both producer Evan and I had him number 1 on our list. You've got 2 guys in the final 5 here that I would classify as home runs, grand slams.
Would you like what you actually said about Dave Bliss on Twitter on April 14th?
I would love for you to read my tweet from April 14th, over a month and a half ago. This is what I said.
April 14th. I'll throw Dave Bliss as a potential name I'd like to see as the Suns go after. Checks a lot of boxes. Up-and-coming coach, under 40, part of a winning organization, oversees the defense, has been there since 19, so has had some hand, assumingly, in culture building.
They don't give these jobs to anybody, man. They just don't. That's April 14th. Dave Bliss should be on the list. Now he's a finalist. One of the 5 names that remain in this coaching search. I'm taking a bit of a victory lap today. Now, it's not hard to find guys like that because I'll tell you exactly what I did. I listened to what we thought this team needed. Somebody who was defensive-minded because they went with an offensive-minded guy and it didn't work. We heard that they wanted to go with a younger head coach. We knew that they probably were going to try to pick somebody that was an assistant someplace else and was a first-time head coach. And so you put all that out there, and I'll tell you exactly where I found Dave Bliss's name. I was reading a story The Athletic puts together at the beginning of the season, and they do these in a bunch of sports, but this was the basketball one, and it was people under 40 in the game to keep an eye on. That, like, these are the future big names in the sport. I saw Dave Bliss. I saw where he was, and I saw that he was a young coach, and I saw that he was a defensive-minded guy, and I started digging into how long had he been there, who he had worked with, and boy, did he check all of the boxes. Chris Quinn checks all of the boxes. Former player, works for a super stable organization, front row seat, Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, every single day working under those 2 gentlemen. Johnny Bryant, a guy who worked with Quinn Snyder in Utah, with Tom Thibodeau in New York. I know the Knicks are 1 game away from being eliminated, but it's been a good run there. Johnny Bryant was a part of that. Now, Ott and Sweeney, I'm on the fence about. Ott, because of the Michigan State thing, it just bothers me. It's an optics thing. He may be a great head coach, and it may be wrong of me for worrying about the optics, but you went with the Michigan State guy. You didn't really conduct a full-blown GM search, and now you're going to go to a guy that also has Michigan State ties. It's just going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. It rubs me the wrong way if that's where we end up here. And with Sweeney, perhaps I'll be wrong with this because I know there are a lot of people out there that like Sweeney. All he's done in his career mostly is follow Jason Kidd around. And I'm sorry, Spoelstra and Riley are better guys to have on your resume as references than Jason Kidd. Tom Thibodeau and Quinn Snyder are better guys to have on your resume as references than Jason Kidd. And so I'm on the fence about Sean Sweeney. Chris Quinn, Dave Bliss, leaders in the clubhouse for me personally. 2 of the 5 names on this list would be home runs, slam dunks. Chris Quinn has seemingly emerged as the favorite. Everything you hear about Quinn throughout this process is he has been impressive. Sweeney is the other guy who reportedly has been impressive. But we are down to 5. We are down to 5 names. So I'll ask you this. You can call into the program 480-864-1060. It's not a rhetorical question. If producer Evan wants to weigh in, would any of these 5 names be a miss in your mind? Would any of these 5 names, Quinn, Bryant, Ott, Bliss, Sweeney, would any of them be a bad hire by the Suns? Now, I don't mean in the results that we see, but when we see the headline, Suns hire, and then insert one of these 5 names, do any of them make you go, they made a mistake? Do any of them go, they're not doing this the right way? Because there's only one for me. I'm on the fence about Sweeney, but I would give it a chance. Jordan Ott would really bother me. The optics of bringing in another guy with those Michigan State connections, you are going to immediately, before the offseason even begins, put a cloud over this organization of all Matt Ishbia knows is to bring in people that have Michigan State connections or people that are just going to say yes to whatever he wants to do. And it has a bad optic to have for this supposed new era of Phoenix Suns basketball. So these 5 guys are going to get their in-person interviews. They're going to get that FaceTime. And now it's up to that final sales pitch in person with Brian Gregory, with Matt Ishbia, with Josh Bartelstein, selling if these 2 sides. The alignment. And you can sell yourself on a Zoom call. You can sell yourself in a phone interview. You can sell yourself in those virtual environments. You can't fake it in person. So when these interviews take place and Matt Ishbia and Brian Gregory, they get that one-on-one FaceTime, somebody, one of these 5 guys is going to jump off the page, is going to leap off the page at them. And this list is a great list. This list, truthfully, should give you confidence in Brian Gregory moving forward. And again, this is a show that has dedicated drops. The alignment. To Brian Gregory. We were not a fan of that press conference. We did not think it was a great first impression. We were unsure if this was going to work, and we don't know if it will. But this is our first chance to see Gregory in action as the GM of this team. And I'm sorry, I am always going to be truthful and honest with all of you. He has done a great job in this process. I love the patience that they're showing. Nobody else is hiring. So it's just them. They can take their time, and they can make sure they get the right person. I am not going to say at the end of this that they rushed the process. I am not going to say at the end of this that they already had somebody in mind at the get-go and they just put everybody through the motions. Nothing about this process says to me that they had a predetermined favorite, that they went into this expecting it to be this guy and that person had a leg up the entire time and there was nothing that nobody else could do to break down those doors. This is a great list. Chris Quinn would be an excellent hire. Dave Bliss would be an excellent hire. I think Johnny Bryant would be an excellent hire. Sweeney, I'm on the fence about Sweeney, but I wouldn't hate it. Jordan Ott's the only one that would have me raising an eyebrow. But in buy or sell in the last segment, producer Evan asked me, would they hire a coach by the end of next week? So by the end of next Friday. I think they're just going to take their time with this. They've got 5 interviews to conduct. And Dave Bliss is a little busy right now. A little busy trying to win a championship as an assistant coach. We don't know necessarily exactly when the NBA Finals are going to start because you've got a series still ongoing between the Pacers and the Knicks. So a lot of idle time for Dave Bliss. So I wonder if the Suns move Bliss to the front of the line to interview him before any of the NBA final stuff gets underway. The demand of trying to win a championship, the demand of that series. So Bliss feels like they want to get that interview not out of the way, but do that one first so they're not waiting around, and then they can talk to all of these other guys. I know that when Brian Gregory was named as the new GM and he was introduced to all of us, we were extremely, extremely skeptical. And I will remain skeptical. Remain skeptical until you see the way this roster looks. Remain skeptical until you see how he's able to navigate the Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal situations. Be extremely skeptical. But when it comes to the first chapter, when it comes to the first test for Brian Gregory to try and pass as the GM, I think he's going to pass with flying colors. That's how I feel right now. When we come back, the Arizona Diamondbacks, they made a move today. Let's talk about Jordan Lawlar and his future. We'll do it next. The lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Arizona children enter the foster system every day. If you're a parent, a coach, a teacher, or just someone who cares about young people, then you may be in a position to help. Become a foster parent not only creates a positive ripple effect in a child's life, it can improve our entire community. That's the foster effect. To learn more, go to azdcs.gov/foster effect. That's azdcs.gov/foster effect. This message is brought to you by the Arizona Department of Child Safety.
Phoenix, are you ready to ascend? Bring Me the Horizon, USA Ascension Program, Part 1.
Every sky will build, my friend.
Taking over Footprint Center, October 2nd, with special guest
Crawling from hell.
Motionless in White, The Plot in You, and Amira El Fiki. On sale now at livenation.com. Bring Me the Horizon, presented by the Big Red Radio.
If you're trying to get through your daily activities and you're noticing you can't because you're focusing more on your pain than being able to enjoy the moment, those are the patients that we're looking to treat because we can make a difference.
That's Dr. Ashley Caravelli, a medical director for QC Kinetics.
What we're doing at QC Kinetics is offering treatments that help with joint preservation. We use cutting-edge technology in our in-house lab to harness your body's natural healing powers and target the areas where you need them the most.
These are regenerative, non-surgical treatments, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader, delivering lasting relief to tens of thousands of patients.
What we do know is that the sooner we start treatment, the sooner you'll see relief.
So don't wait another minute. See if you're a good candidate for these non-surgical treatments for joint pain. The consultation is completely free.
Call QC Kinetics, 602-837-7246. In Phoenix, Scottsdale, Peoria, and Chandler. That's 837-7246. 837-7246.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The Pacers haven't closed out the Knicks just yet, but if they can get it done tonight, we're looking at an NBA Finals matchup built on one of the more unexpected foundations imaginable. Paul George. That's right, Paul George, a guy who hasn't played a single minute for either OKC or Indiana in the last 6 years. He may be the secret ingredient to this year's finals. So let's do a rewind. 2017, Indiana traded George to OKC in exchange for Domantas Sabonis and Victor Oladipo. Fast forward a few seasons later, Sabonis gets flipped for Tyrese Halliburton, now the face of the franchise. OKC followed a similar path. After 2 years with the Thunder, George was dealt to the Clippers in a monster trade that sent Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a boatload of picks to OKC. Shea just won the MVP, and one of those pick swaps turned out to be Jalen Williams, an all-NBA selection. So if the Pacers punch their ticket to the finals tonight, just remember Paul George. He helped build both of them. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. If you played pickleball in regular sneakers, you know you can pay the price. They don't cut it. And Todd found this out the hard way. We have this great sponsor, Tyrell. They make the best pickleball shoes. So one day Todd is playing pickleball and he forgot his Tyrell pickleball shoes. Well, you know what happened? He got hurt. He was playing in some fancy different shoes that aren't meant for pickleball, and he learned a lesson. Tyrell has everything you need to keep your feet cool. They're tough. They're lightweight. They're so solid on your feet, and you're going to wear and tear on the court, and they're ready to go. Every detail is built to help you play better. Tyrell pickleball shoes. If you want to play longer, feel better, and stop sliding around in those old sneakers, go to TyrellPickleball.com. You can look like a pro. You can play like a pro. It's Tyrell pickleball shoes. You spell it Tyrol. Tyrell pickleball shoes, the best pickleball shoes, purpose-built for pickleball.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
About 10 minutes from now, we'll talk about how the Arizona Cardinals, no matter what they do, uncertainty still follows them, and people are not ready to buy what they are selling. But right now, and this is unfortunate because I think we have to decide something as a program, because it is being reported that Jordan Lawlar is being sent back down to Reno, optioned back down to AAA Reno, and it was a rough go of it yesterday for Jordan Lawlar. His error, bases loaded, ball hit right to him at second base, fielded it well, tried to turn and make the double play, threw the ball. Perdomo, I think, was blocked by the runner, couldn't necessarily see the ball. Thing goes into left field. 2 more runs score, and then the wheels fell off the wagon at that point. That made it 3-0, and you know how it all ended up. It was a 10-1 loss for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And for Jordan, he didn't get a ton of time. He wasn't making the most of the time that he did have. Didn't have a hit during his little run here. Made some errors in the field. It just didn't go well. Now, I don't think he was put in the best position to succeed. I don't think they lived up to what they said they were going to give him in terms of playing time. But it's not like he went out there in the limited time that he did and hit the cover off the ball and forced their hands into playing him more. He didn't help matters. But now here's a very interesting place that I want to take the conversation right now, because he's reportedly being sent back down to Reno. Vargas is being brought back up. They signed him to a big league deal. He opted out of his contract. Ildemaro Vargas had an opt-out in his contract that if he wasn't up on the big league level by a certain date, he could opt out and elect free agency. He did that, but then the Diamondbacks signed him to a major league deal, and so they sent Jordan Lawlar back down to Reno. At least that's what the reporting is saying about what is going to happen here with this roster. Again, off day for the Diamondbacks, so none of this really has to, I think, technically become official until tomorrow. But Jordan Lawlar has been sent back down to Reno. He needs to stay down there for the rest of the season. He clearly has some stuff he needs to work on. Defensively, he had some issues at the big league level. I think by the end, that was more of a mental thing than it was anything else, but obviously got to clean that up. He was being exposed by breaking balls, by off-speed stuff, was not able to adjust and force pitchers to throw him more fastballs. He wasn't able to do anything with those breaking pitches. He has to work on that. And the only way I think he's going to do that is by playing every single day. And he was never going to get that opportunity here at the big league level. And so even if there's an injury, I wonder if he's best suited to just have a full year down. You don't want to call him up and then send him back down and call him up and send him back down. You called him up. You tried to give him some run here. It didn't work. You're not giving up on him. I still think he's your starting third baseman next season. Give him things to work on. But now allow him to play out the rest of the season down there in Reno. Get better as a player. He's still 23. He's still a part of your future. He's not a bust. He's not a failure. You called him up. He showed that he wasn't necessarily fully ready. The defense at times looked MLB ready. The defense at times looked special at second, at short, at third. He made some plays. But he also made some plays where you're like, what are you doing? To go along with a bat that didn't get a hit while he was up here. So it pains me. I think we have to retire the sounder. I think it has to be retired.
You're going to get on me for me being dramatic again.
Okay, go ahead, East Coast guy. Go ahead. And I am an East Coast guy, but you play this bit up on the show, so go ahead.
I can't remember a call-up going more poorly, given everything. And I just mean, like, on not all of it's on Jordan Lawlar. Like, I'm not just saying that. They did it at a weird time. We thought that originally. He goes 0 for 17. They can't get him in the lineup. He seems to have confidence issues in the field. He's playing all over the place. He can't build a rhythm. Like, all of it went really poorly.
It did. It went poorly. I think the timing was wrong. The timing didn't make sense. We said it at the time, but they said, hey, we're going to be able to get him the necessary at-bats. We're going to be able to get him multiple starts throughout the week. We said, okay, if you can hold up to that end of the bargain, he's going to get enough playing time to warrant him being up here. They never were able to meet that standard. And again, with the limited action that he did get, he didn't force their hand. Jackson Holliday, when he first got called up by Baltimore, he struggled.
That was another bad one.
It wasn't this bad where he didn't have a hit. Now, Lawlar had come up in the past and contributed a little bit back in the 23 season, towards the end of the year. So it's not like he's still looking for his first big league hit. He's still looking for his first big league home run, though. But Holliday came up, and everybody said, it's over. This is Matt Holliday's kid, one of the top prospects in the game. The spot's now his. He's going to hit 300. He's going to be a superstar. And he struggled. And then they sent him back down. And they said, okay, you've got stuff you've got to work on. But everybody at the time was surprised when they sent him back down. But everybody said, this is not the end of Jackson Holliday. This kid's super talented. He's got a great makeup. He's going to go down there, improve, get better, and he's going to knock on the door again. Would not be surprised. Would not be surprised if Jordan Lawlar goes down there and he starts hitting the cover off the ball once again. And then we start to have the conversation. Do they need to call him up? Because that's how good I think he can be at the AAA level. That's how good he was down in Reno earlier this season. I don't think this is the end of Jordan Lawlar. I think this is just a part of his journey. And again, it was square peg, round hole. He wasn't really a natural fit for this team this year. Their starting second baseman was healthy. Ketel Marte was healthy when they called him up. Their starting shortstop, a guy they signed to an extension this offseason, having, by all metrics, a career season. Their third baseman, ups and downs with Suarez, but the power is there. The defense was there. Square peg, round hole. They didn't have a natural spot for him. Next year, the spot is clear as day. He's your starting third baseman. That's where he belongs. And so it's tough. I don't like having this conversation. I mean, we created bits around Jordan Lawlar. We thought this guy could be a contributor. We thought this guy could help this team. We were wrong. He's still not ready. And that's okay. It's okay to come up to the big league level, struggle, and admit this kid's not ready. He needs to go down to Reno and work on stuff. He's 23 years old. Long career in Jordan Lawlar's future. You could call him up when he's 25 years old. You could give him another 2 full years in the minor leagues. I'm never going to do this. You can give him another 2 full years in the minor leagues. Call him up at 25. He could have a 10-year career. He'll be 35. Still with probably 3 or 4 years where he can still be a productive big league player before he gets to 40. He's 23 years old. He's a young kid. Relax. He struggled. He couldn't get a hit. It was clearly becoming a mental hurdle for him. And the last thing you want to do is to make that worse. And because of the square peg, round hole nature of his fit on this roster this year, you now had a bench spot that, let's face it, was being wasted. Because now I don't have a bat off the bench. I don't have a right-hander that I can turn to if Jordan Lawlar is struggling the way that he is. So he's not playing every day. It's hurting him. He's not contributing. That's not helping the team. Made an error yesterday's game, completely let the wheels fall off the game. So now he's costing you games, and now he's also messing with your roster construction because you don't have now a bat off the bench. In a tough spot, if Torey needs a righty, could he realistically turn and look at Lawlar and expect him to come through in that spot for them?
No.
Not with the way he was hitting. So you're not doing right by him, but you're also not doing right by the team. And I'm sure this was a tough decision. I'm sure this was the last thing the Diamondbacks wanted to have to potentially do when they called him up. When they called him up, in their minds, it was, we are doing this for good. He is now a permanent member of this team. He's going to be a utility guy for us this year. We're going to move him around the diamond a little bit, and then he's going to take over for third base next year when Suarez's contract is done. That was the plan. That's exactly what this was all about. And instead, they hit a little speed bump, a little turbulence. That's okay. Jordan Lawlar, I still think, is on track to be the opening day third baseman for this team next year. We play our Sharpie pen pencil game. I put that one in pen. Jordan Lawlar, opening day third baseman next year.
Yeah, I'm not as sold on it as you.
Well, you wanted to trade him earlier in the program.
No,
buy or sell, you wanted to trade him.
Want to trade him is not what I said.
No, you put it in buy or sell. It means you wanted to trade him.
But if you got a nice package for a starting third baseman next year, or let's say they do get hot and around the deadline, you get a pitching option and an everyday outfielder, I would look at moving him.
One, his value is not going to be
obviously his value is much lower than it was 3 weeks ago at this point. But I would just, in those conversations, that would be something I would look into if my phone rings.
Over his 2 stints in the big leagues, he had a stint in 2023 where he played in 14 games and had 34 at-bats. He's had 56 plate appearances at the big league level.
That's nothing.
It is less than nothing in the grand scheme of things. Less than nothing. So I'm not even entertained.
And by the way, this isn't me saying that Jordan Lawlar's career is over. I think that it went poorly. It went super, super poorly. And I think the fielding aspect of it was arguably the most glaring part.
Well, that to me is a carryover of the hitting woes. That to me is he's taken it with him in the field. That he's now putting so much pressure on himself that he is not just playing the game of baseball. He's now thinking the game of baseball. It's the worst thing you can do. Don't think, just play, just react. You are naturally gifted. You've got all 5 tools, basically. Just go play the game. And it felt like he was getting away from that. And so I think this is going to be good for him. I think it's going to be good for the team. It's going to make the roster better. They're going to have a true backup infield option, a bat that they can turn to off the bench. It's just going to make this team better roster-wise. Now, again, they've got a whole bunch of other problems that hopefully they can solve over the weekend. Hopefully their bullpen can have a good weekend against Washington. But Jordan Lawlar, unfortunately, I think for at least the foreseeable future, it's the last time we're going to play that drop. Sad. Easily a top 5 play drop on the program.
Easily.
Something new is going to take. You know what? We went busto. Drop's done.
Gosh, he struck out 40% of the time.
Small sample size, over 22 plate appearances. A couple of strikeouts is going to make that number big. But yes, that is a large number. I saw it when I pulled up his numbers from 2023. Because down in the minors,
what is that? 9 of 22 strikeouts.
I don't do math very well. I can try to find how many strikeouts it was. It was 9 strikeouts and 22 plate appearances.
It's bad.
It was bad. And it was the breaking stuff in particular. But I think the good that comes out of this is, okay, he knows exactly what he needs to go work on down in Reno. And we saw how good he can be in Reno, so he can really kind of laser in and focus on fixing just that part of his game. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, the Cardinals, they made a lot of noise this offseason. They are setting their sights on the playoffs. But not everybody is buying what the Cardinals are selling. It's next on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
Judas Priest and Alice Cooper.
No, Mr. Nice Guy.
The Metal Gods, Judas Priest. The godfather of shock rock, Alice Cooper. October 22nd, Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater with special guest, Corrosion of Conformity. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Presented by 100.7 KSLX, part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Get the freedom to save with Chevrolet. Spectacular offers are available right now. Plus, you'll have the freedom to choose from an extensive lineup that's ready for all the adventure ahead. That includes popular models like the legendary Silverado, the versatile Equinox, plus the feature-packed and affordable Chevy Trax. Don't miss out. Memorial Day marks the beginning of summer and a great time to hit the open road in a brand new car, truck, SUV, or EV from Chevrolet. Hey, Phoenix, during the Memorial Day event, get 0.9% financing for 60 months on the 2025 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab Turbo Max, or get $7,600 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Come by your Valley Chevy dealers for the Memorial Day event, going on now. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Monthly payment is $1,705 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment, 9.4%. Not available with lease and some other offers. Must trade in the 2011 model year or newer vehicle. Residential restrictions apply. Take new retail delivery by 6/2/2025.
Hey Arizona, Tom Chambers here. I've learned that great teams are built by hard work, ethics, and perseverance. That's exactly what you get with Right Way Roofing. Right Way Roofing is a third-generation roofing company that has built trust in our community through their commitment to excellence. They use the toughest, most durable materials to handle Arizona's extreme weather. Take it from me, Tom Chambers. When it comes to your roof, choose the team that delivers excellence, because there's only one way, the right way.
We're Right Way Roofing and we do it right. We'll always keep you watertight.
Maybe it's time to expect more from college, more opportunities and fewer barriers. Discover Maricopa Community Colleges, the Valley's most accessible higher education provider. With 10 colleges and more than 600 career and degree programs, we're committed to making college work for you. We provide affordable, high-quality educational opportunities that are accessible to everyone. Discover what makes us different at opportunity.maricopa.edu.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert here with you. Hope you're all having a fantastic Thursday afternoon. Producer Evan, I have a couple of questions for you if you don't mind. If you're not busy.
Give them to me.
I've got a couple of questions that I would love your thoughts on. Would you say that the Arizona Cardinals had a good free agency period?
I would say probably a top 3 free agency period.
Would you say the Arizona Cardinals had a good NFL draft?
I would say they had a solid NFL draft.
Would you say that the Arizona Cardinals are a better football team than they were at the end of last season?
Both feet on the ground, stand by what I said. They are a better football team this season.
Would you say that it is fair that the expectations for this team are raised up to the level of making the playoffs next season?
They won 8 games last year. I said they got better. They had a great offseason. You would imagine that they are at least a 9-win football team, and the expectation should be to win 10 games. You're 2 games better. I think that gets you in.
I'm getting a very positive vibe off of you about what the Cardinals have done this offseason. A different vibe.
It's been very negative today.
Right.
Very positive on the Arizona Cardinals.
Right. Very different than the way you feel about Torey Lovello and the Diamondbacks right now.
Yes.
So
obviously.
Positive vibe. You are going into the season kind of excited about this football team.
Very excited about this football team.
So my question is it just us? And when I say us, I mean everybody within the border of the state of Arizona.
It seems to be that way.
Because on Sports Illustrated today, they released a story. Connor Orr did his 100 bold predictions for the 2025 NFL season. And his 8th prediction of the 100, 8th, meaning it was somewhat front of mind. Some of the things he had in front: the Bills will defeat the Eagles in the Super Bowl next season. Josh Allen will win the Super Bowl MVP. The Saints will have the number 1 pick. 2 NCAA head coaches will receive serious offers for NFL head coaching jobs. These are some of the things. Number 8, Kyler Murray will play his final snaps for the Cardinals. I won't read you the whole blurb, but this is how the blurb ends. Quote, "While a lot of this is not Murray's fault and is often the reality of playing for a team bad enough to qualify for the number 1 pick, Arizona will prepare for larger scale changes after finishing in the NFC West basement." Anybody want to explain to me where the disconnect is? Because I agree with everything that producer Evan said. This team had a great offseason. This team had a great NFL draft. This team is much better on paper than the team they were at the end of the season. It is incredibly reasonable for them to have expectations of making the postseason. But you can tell. You can tell in the way this was written, and you can tell in the way people are talking about the Arizona Cardinals. Some of them will say it out loud, some kind of hint around it. They've made up their minds on Kyler Murray. They've made up their minds. They've determined he's not a good quarterback. They have determined he is not a franchise quarterback. They've made up their minds. You can have the best offseason in the world. You can get Josh Sweat. You can bring back Calais Campbell. You can bring in Dalvin Tomlinson. You can have an excellent draft, Walter Nolan and Will Johnson in the first 2 rounds. And by the way, some of the other predictions in this story, one of them was about Walter Nolan leading all rookies in tackles for loss and pointing out Calais Campbell and his addition to this team making a difference. One of the other predictions from this list had to do with...
I'll sit here and say, if those 2 things happen, they're not finishing in the basement of this division.
How about this? Another one of the predictions on this list. Marvin Harrison Jr. and James Conner will combine for more than 20 touchdowns.
How can you predict those 4 things and then say they'll finish in the basement of the division?
I will tell you. They don't think the quarterback is any good. They don't think the coach is any good. They don't think the things that matter, the head coach, the quarterback, are good enough for them to win. But you're right. That's the right question to ask. Because on one hand, you're telling me that James Conner and Marvin Harrison Jr. are going to combine to score 20 touchdowns. You're going to tell me that Walter Nolan is going to lead all rookies. Let me scroll down here because it's further down the list. But let me make sure that I quote it correctly about Walter Nolan, because I was scrolling through and I was shocked at that the 8th thing on the list was about Kyler Murray playing his last snaps for the Arizona Cardinals. There's 80 of these predictions, so apologies that it's taking me a little bit to scroll down here to find my Walter Nolan take. Here it is. Prediction number 85. Walter Nolan will lead all rookies in tackles for loss and all rookie defensive tackles in sacks. Here's the blurb. Quote, "The gifted talent who slipped to the 16th pick due to some maturity concerns, will flourish under the mentorship of Calais Campbell and hand third-year coach Jonathan Gannon a lifeline as he attempts to fix his run defense. So on one hand, you're saying Walter Nolan's going to be great as a rookie. Walter Nolan's going to be one of the best rookie defenders. You're also saying Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to have a great second season. James Conner is going to have a great season. And the team is going to, not only is Kyler Murray going to play his final snaps, but I kind of held one of these predictions in my back pocket because they also said, Connor Orr also said in this story, that the Arizona Cardinals, Miami Dolphins, and Washington Commanders will fail to surpass their Vegas projected win totals. And in parentheses, they have the Cardinals win total at 8.5.
What were the three teams? It was us, the Cardinals.
The Cardinals, the Dolphins, the Commanders. 8.5.
I actually agree with the other two.
The Dolphins at 8.5 and the Commanders at 9.5. So for you to say Kyler Murray's played his last snaps in Arizona, they're going to miss on their win totals in Vegas. And on top of that, Walter Nolan's going to be great. Marvin Harrison Jr. and James Conner are going to combine for 20 touchdowns. You're telling me you don't believe in the quarterback. And so here it is. Once again, another example. Kyler, you got to go out and prove everybody wrong because there is nothing that this franchise can do right now. There is nothing that they can do in the offseason. There's nothing that they can do in the draft. There is nothing that they can do with an easy schedule. There is nothing that they can do with their coaching staff. There is nothing that they can do nationally to overcome this. Nobody believes in Kyler Murray. It's that simple. Now, I don't know if I believe in Kyler Murray. I have said this is a make or break season. But I look at this roster, I look at the way that he played in the first half of last season, and I look at the way that he's played in the past, and I'm willing to say they've got a shot. What if we just took a shot? They've got a chance. To write them off like this tells me that this is somebody who's done with Kyler Murray.
And we know that that is a common feeling.
Oh, it's the overwhelming feeling surrounding this team.
But I don't know how great he needs to be for them to win 9 football games.
We talked about this 2 weeks ago. Does he need to be a top 15 quarterback? We said he's got to be better than that.
Was he a top 16 quarterback last year?
Probably on the fringes, probably in that conversation.
They won 8 games.
So if he's better than that, could he be in the top 10? He could be a top 10 quarterback statistically. I don't know if he's going to do it, but can he be? Yes. With this talent around him, with this infrastructure, with this coaching staff. But again, none of the other stuff matters. Everybody else is writing this team off because they wrote off Kyler Murray the moment he had in a wild card game in LA and threw a fit on the sidelines. That was it. Everybody in that moment decided on Kyler Murray. We've seen Kyler Murray.
And he was bad.
It was bad. But he got up from that. At least here he did. He got up from that and is a different player. I just don't know if everybody else is willing to give that second chance. They seem very resigned that Kyler Murray is done here. But you know what? If I was Kyler, if I was the Cardinals, boy, is this fuel. Boy, would I use this as motivation.
I would have this posted in his locker.
Boom.
Every day.
Everybody thinks that no matter what we do as a team, you are going to be the one that sinks us. If I'm Jonathan Gannon, I would pull him in my office today. And I'd say, Kyler, everybody else out here thinks that no matter what we've done, no matter how improved you are, no matter how improved this team is, no matter all the things that we've done, they don't think you're good enough to lead this team. Go prove them wrong. And you know what? If the season plays out and he doesn't win enough games and they don't make the playoffs, then he will have proven all of this right. I'm just not ready. I'm not there yet. I want to see this season out. There's no harm in seeing this season out. But I'm reading this and I'm seeing all these different predictions about the Cardinals and trying to justify it. It all leads back to one thing. People are done with Kyler Murray, at least nationally. They are done with him as the franchise quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here on the program. We've got one more segment, the leftovers, all of the things that we didn't get to throughout the course of the program. We'll get to them next. It's KDUS, AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind. Oh my. Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Jaw-dropping stunts, high-flying tricks, heart-pounding excitement. Nitro Circus is back. The all-new off-the-rails tour. Gravity-defying thrill seekers and world-class daredevils at the top of their game. FMX, BMX, skate, scooter, and everything in between. Experience all new competitions that pit the best against the best in never-been-done showdowns. Nitro Circus. Friday, December 5th, Desert Diamond Arena. Join the action at Ticketmaster.com.
Are you tired of seeing rust stains in your sinks? Call Culligan. Or scrubbing hard water scale buildup from your fixtures. Call Culligan. We can customize whole home solutions to address common water worries found in Phoenix. And now, for a limited time, you can get better water at every tap in your home for $0 down, no payments, and no interest for 6 months. Problem water is no problem for Culligan. Contact your local water expert today. Contaminants may not be in your water. Dealer participation may vary. See dealer for details.
Dive into summer style and savings during the Memorial Day event at Living Spaces. Enjoy cozy lounging with sofas starting at $350, easy resting with queen beds starting at $195, and special meals with dining sets starting at $295. You'll even find outdoor sets for alfresco fun starting at $595. Plus, pay no interest for 24 months on select purchases with your good credit and enjoy free shipping as soon as next day. Celebrate the start of summer and shop the Memorial Day event only at Living Spaces.
Living Spaces.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated, and the lawyer you choose needs to be equipped to handle them. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Closing up things here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Jim Rome's coming up next. He's got you 1 to 4. It's the leftovers, all the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the program. Producer Evan is the one that holds all of these stories for the end. Where are we starting today, Producer Evan?
So we will start with the NBA. I touched on it earlier, but Oklahoma City wrapped up their 5-game series there with the Minnesota Timberwolves and moved on to the NBA Finals. Currently the favorites to win the NBA Finals, and for good reason. This team is unbelievable.
Did you see the stat? And maybe I'm getting this wrong, but pretty sure I'm remembering it correctly. I don't have it in front of me. That if Indiana wins and they move on to the finals and we get a Thunder Pacers NBA final, it will be the first time since they instituted the aprons that 2 teams will be playing in the NBA Finals that are not even above the first apron.
I didn't see that. That's awesome.
So you got to give credit where credit is due for the way Oklahoma City has built this thing.
And since moving there, this would be Oklahoma City's first as the Thunder, correct?
This would be their first championship.
And this would be the Pacers' first if they move on.
I think so.
That'd be pretty cool, too. You get a new winner.
Well, 6
no
people.
matter what, you get a new winner since, 50-something?
6 total people are going to be watching the series between the 2 cities.
No, I know, yeah. And they're going to enjoy it.
Those 6 people are going to really enjoy watching Pacers Thunder.
In other news, moving to college football, ASU and a bunch of other teams, but more specifically Arizona State, released their schedule and times and stuff for the first 4 games of the year, and what networks they'll be on.
Okay.
So as of now, NAU, that's going to be a night game, which does not surprise anybody.
So ASU NAU will be an evening game.
Yes.
Okay.
That will be a 7:00 start, and they will play that at on ESPN Plus.
Okay.
Sorry. And then on September 6th, they are at Mississippi State, and that'll be at 4:30 on ESPN2. First nationally televised game there for the Devils.
Well, ESPN2 vehicle. Okay.
Here's where things get crazy. Texas State returning home 7:30 p.m. kick on TNT.
Yeah. So
and Max.
Yeah. So TNT gets some games this year. So we have that. And then I think there's some Friday night games in here as well. I don't know if it's ASU specifically, but I thought I remember seeing something yesterday about some Friday games.
Yeah, so I think all these are Saturdays.
Okay.
So all these are Saturday, and yeah, all these are Saturdays. And then you also got the next game, that was announced, which is then 2 weeks. So September 26th, back home at Arizona State, 6:00 kickoff against TCU on Fox. Oh, baby.
All right. So a couple of nationally televised games early in the season.
You get Fox, TCU. That place better be rocking that night.
Certainly hope so. College football can't get out of their own way right now. They're yelling once again about the college football playoff format. And,
yeah, that's my next one.
And okay, sorry, didn't mean to jump ahead on you. They just
no, go ahead.
They can't get out of their own way, arguing once again about 16 seeds and how it's going to be seeded. You're going to ruin the sport. And you're not going to ruin the sport because you're adding more teams. You're not going to ruin the sport because you're changing the seating. You're going to ruin the sport because you're constantly tinkering with it, because you won't
keep it the same.
You just won't put your egos aside and appoint somebody as the commissioner and make just one governing body for all of college football, separate from all the other sports. Nobody will do the smart thing here and put the egos aside and just create one standard governing body for college football.
Can I say something too?
Sure.
Why they went away from the 4? The 4 was perfect.
No, the 4 was not perfect.
Yes, it was.
No, the 4 was not perfect because
the 4 best teams were in it every year.
No, they were not. See,
yes,
this is where you are wrong. The 4 best teams were not in it every year. There were a number of years where they got this wrong.
Give me it.
And here's
the best team won every year in the 4-team playoff.
The best team
won the national championship every year under the 4-team.
I mean, best is a subjective word. I don't know how we define best, but there were teams more deserving. That Cincinnati got jobbed one year. They got in another year, but they got jobbed one year.
No, they didn't.
UCF has been jobbed in the past.
Oh, my God.
TCU has been jobbed in the past.
Alabama rushed for 9.5 yards a carry against Cincinnati. That's not entertaining. They don't deserve to be there.
See, results of the college football playoff games themselves, the results do not make the process correct. I'm sorry. The process needs to be right, and countless number of times.
Okay, well, Cincinnati went in there for UCF, the team of Cincinnati that didn't get in and got embarrassed.
Doesn't matter.
And for
they that year they belonged in. They were one of the 4 best teams. When they got there, they didn't play well, and they lost. Okay, but they were one of the 4 teams that deserved it. But the committee constantly played this game of who they put at number 5 and who they put at number 6. And they arbitrarily decided that this time a head-to-head matchup mattered and this time a head-to-head matchup didn't matter. And they constantly cycled it around. They do not do this well. And now that we're going to straight seeding, and now that we're going for if you win your conference, you're in, but your seeding is going to be dependent on where you rank, boy, are they going to screw that up this year. They're going to mess that up hardcore. And people are going to yell and rant and rave once again. The moment there's one tiny inconvenience to your favorite program, the whole thing is a sham. It's not how it works. I hate to be this guy. Be better. Win more football games. It's that simple. You want to remove the committee from having these conversations, win more football games. Sorry, teams in the SEC, don't lose 3 games and look at the committee and say, well, we play in the SEC, so we've got 3 losses, put us in. Win more football games. Be the dominant team that your conference is supposed to be, is supposedly.
Is this a knock at Lane Kiffin?
It's a knock at everybody. I cannot stand the College Football Playoff Committee. Bring me back the computers. We got AI now. Just let AI do it. ChatGPT do a much better job. ChatGPT greater than sign the College Football Playoff Committee. That is the take that I'm leaving you with here today.
I don't know. There was some last year went pretty poorly.
The committee?
All of it.
Yes. They're bad at this. They're not good at this. They're bad.
SMU.
They're bad.
I mean, they were a bad football team.
They are bad at this.
They shouldn't have been it.
That's going to do it for us. Thursday edition of the program in the books. Jim Rome is coming up next. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Everybody, have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya!